There is this big controversy about why Devin Booker was not on the team flight to Memphis.
Donovan Mitchell.
Why do I keep doing that?
Why, dude?
The Pfizer vaccine has broken my brain. Excuse me. Donovan Mitchell was not on the Utah Jazz team flight. And a lot of people were asking questions about that. Quinn Snyder was asked about it. He basically said, hey, it's a personal issue. I'm not going to talk about it. Hope you can honor that. On board with that 100%. But we're getting into this situation in the NBA where Kyrie Irving can't play because, he has a personal issue. He's got a family issue. He's got the winds coming out of the west instead of the east, so we got to slow down a little bit. And all of a sudden, it's becoming okay for NBA guys, Jake, to take nights off with really no explanation.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't want this conversation to come off certainly as we're criticizing Donovan, but I do think culturally speaking in the NBA, there are a lot of guys who just are like, yep, not playing tonight, is what it is, all good, not playing tonight. And I think that this newer age of player thinks that that's okay. And I don't think it's okay. I don't think that players should be missing time. I think that you're paid to be there. That would be like us being like, all right, well, we're not going to go to Yelp today because we just don't feel like it. That's just not going to be good enough. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that Donovan is having issues with the team or anything. My honest opinion is it's probably a mixture of he wanted some rest. They wanted to rest him. And yeah, sure, there was probably something he had to handle. Okay, great. Let's not make a habit out of it, though. That's my biggest thing. This team is not the same team without Donovan Mitchell. They are not nearly the same team without him, and I think we saw that last night.
Yeah, I don't think it's quote-unquote concerning. I don't think this is end-of-the-world stuff.
This is a code 10 abort.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't think that's it at all. But what I do think is that you have a situation where your best player, and we've talked about it on the show repeatedly with the Jazz, it's Don and everybody else on that team.
Yep.
So this win in Memphis last night, I felt like was a really big win. And it showed you a couple of things. When Mike Conley is able to play at full tilt, the guy still really got game. I don't think there's any question about that. I think you're seeing Bojan Bogdanovic kind of break out of this slump that he was in.
Yep.
He's shooting the three a little bit better. I love him playing with his back to the basket. I think it is, as somebody who's played a similar role in my basketball life where I've always been able to shoot threes, but I've always had size. Whenever I struggled shooting, I just go down on the block. And I hit a turnaround, and all of a sudden, my three-pointer starts going in more. Like, that's what I see from Bojan Bogdanovic. And I think it's a really critical moment in time for the Jazz, because if they're going to win a championship, he's got to get back to shooting 40% from three because they need it. I don't believe that you're going to be able to count on George Niang or Royce O'Neal. I think it's Donovan Mitchell. I think probably your second best offensive player is Joe Ingles, because I don't believe that you can count on Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that Joe Ingles seemingly always finds a way to get his shot and to make the shot. And I think that while he's not a huge off-the-dribble guy, I think that he can mess around a little bit on the perimeter, especially if he's got someone screening for him. And he can get a good look. And when you can knock it down at the rate he can knock it down, I mean, those are good offensive possessions. I just think that if you look at the standings, the Suns are 3 games back or whatever it is. They're not really that far back. And I think that, the Jazz being this power in the West is kind of evening out a little bit. Like in the first half, everyone was like, oh, well, they're easily the best team in the league and this is over, And now that we've played some games and teams have caught up, the Jazz are 3 games ahead in the West. That's not a huge margin, but it's big enough, to be okay. So I just think last night, like, they definitely struggled in that game a little bit, and then they came strong at the end. They made their free throws, and they end up making it a 4-point game, down the stretch to close the game out. So, good game, nice game. I am a little concerned if Donovan Mitchell gets hurt, that's not going to be a good situation. That's going to be real trouble for the Jazz. So I think they just need to be mindful of where they're at. Like Memphis, as an example, is an extremely physical team who has guys on it who are looking to beat you up. And so when you're Donovan Mitchell, you just need to be mindful of that when you're playing teams like the Grizzlies, and other teams of that nature. So overall, though, I think the Jazz are fine. these were good wins, and now it's time to move on.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. I think when you say it's time to move on, I think it is. And I've always said that I think one win's never going to define an NBA season.
Yeah.
But when you win this way and you get and I don't know what else you would call this besides a quality team win, where you got contributions out of guys you've questioned whether or not they can contribute, I think that's why this was a big win. I also think it was a big win because of what happened in Phoenix with Devin Booker and the Suns against the Chicago Bulls. Because, my God, Devin, who you again will say is not a superstar, he put up 179 points last night against the Bulls.
Right.
Never missed a shot.
Right. He was
and
perfect.
Dunked all over everybody. Even, Devin Booker had a huge game.
Wet like I'm booked.
I mean, unbelievable. And the best part about it was, 45 points? Only 6 of those points came from 3.
Yeah.
He only made 2 threes last night. All of that other production came from the mid-range and the free throw line. And it is spectacular to me that we're seeing a guy continue to reinforce what I've been saying for 3 years. He is a superstar. And now you're seeing him with a legitimate running mate in Chris Paul and a guy in Mikal Bridges that I think is blossoming right in front of our face and we don't realize it. But what you're seeing, the net effect of that is that Devin Booker has now truly become a superstar. And I don't know what it's going to take for him to get over, but at some point, somebody's going to have to give that guy some love.
Yeah, I think what it's going to take to get over is a legit postseason run. I think that this team, has definitely taken strides forward. I think that they're having a hell of a year. I think for Devin Booker, there's only one thing that matters now, and that's winning. You need to win a postseason series. You need to send somebody home, and you need to get to the second round of the playoffs. That's what will start to cement him as a superstar in the league.
I think it's probably, I don't know. Do you have to win? Why is Giannis Antetokounmpo a superstar then? He hasn't won a championship. He's been dominant. Book hasn't won a championship. He's clearly dominant.
I mean, Giannis has won an MVP, though, like it or not. I mean, he has those accolades on his side. And I think that, to me, I would rather have Devin Booker than Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's not even in question. I just think that the problem is that Devin Booker hasn't won anything yet. He hasn't done anything major yet, and that's why I'm saying, I know that every time we have this conversation, we talk about it, but that's literally the only thing left. The guy is showing you that he can dominate pretty much any defense. He can put it up every single night. He's right there with the best of them in terms of all-stars and the high-end players in the league. And I think the only difference between him and, Jimmy Butler, let's say, or, any...
You think Jimmy Butler's more of a superstar than Donovan Mitchell, than Devin Booker?
No, I think what I was going to say is I think that Jimmy has won now. Jimmy has done things.
Man, I like you. I don't want to have to jump over this table and break your legs. But are you really going to sit here and tell me that
Jimmy Butler is a better defensive player than Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a better offensive player than Jimmy Butler. So there's pros and cons.
I think Devin Booker is an elite offensive player.
Right, he is.
In my mind, there are only a couple of guys that do what he does. James Harden, LeBron James until he's dead, and Devin Booker. They have the arsenal. They can shoot it. They can mid-range it. They can dunk it. They can lay it up. They make free throws outside of LeBron. I mean, come on. Are we really having the discussion on whether or not? I don't know what else he's going to have to do.
He has to win something, do something in the league. How hard is this? It's not hard. He has to go to the playoffs. He has to actually win a postseason series. Actually win the games that actually matter. That's what he has to do. I guess I just don't understand why this is so hard to understand, man. Yes, great, you're a dominant player. This is the same logic I apply to the Utah Jazz. Awesome. You were 23 and nothing. You had a perfect record in the first half of the regular season. Who gives a damn? It doesn't mean anything. You're the number 1 seed. Okay, awesome. What are you gonna do in the postseason against a team that is just as good as you? That's where careers are defined. What did Michael do against the Jazz? What did Kobe do against Portland? What did all these guys do against the big team in the big moment? That's what Devin Booker needs to get the national credit he deserves.
I'm trying not to snap.
Well,
I agree with you. He needs an individual accolade. But what then is it going to be? Because it's then going to be, well, yeah, he's an MVP. Well, yeah, he's a scoring champion. Well, it's always going to be something.
he doesn't have anything,
Always
dude.
going to
He
be
doesn't have
something.
anything right now. He doesn't have anything.
The motherfucker, he can't even get on the All-Star team.
Right. So what does that say? What does that say?
That the world's full of haters.
Nobody knows him.
That
Nobody
the world
knows
is,
of him.
come on. I think people know him. I think what we've talked about in his, and I want to be gentle because we have a huge audience in Phoenix. The Suns are a joke as an organization. They're not well respected. I don't think there's any question that if he was, and again, I'll say, if he was a Laker like he's always wanted to be, I don't think there's any question that Devin Booker is a superstar right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any question that he could legit win an MVP standing next to LeBron James.
Yeah, he
if
could.
they were on the same team.
Yep.
But he's not, and so he hasn't.
Yep.
And so I think it's the issue. He plays in Phoenix. Nobody watches Phoenix Suns game, even now with them only being 3 games out of the top spot in the West.
Which I feel like nobody knows about either.
Yeah, nobody's watching Phoenix Suns basketball.
Yeah.
And much the same for the beloved Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's watching Utah Jazz
If
basketball.
it's not an ESPN game, you're not watching.
If it's not Turner, if it's not, TNT, I said Turner. Wow, that's like old school.
Yeah.
If it's not, I would agree with that. If it's not TNT, if it's not ESPN, you're probably not watching it.
By the way, did you hear that Fox Sports Arizona is no longer?
Yeah, it's Bally Sports. This is weird to me. So Mrs. Monty and I, through our many travails in life,
Uh-huh.
at one point belonged to Bally Total Fitness,
Uh-huh.
which was Vaza Fitness. Think about it that way. 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness. It was huge fitness brand. And then I had thought they went bankrupt. They were out of business, is what it is.
Right.
Well, now all of a sudden they bought all the Fox Sports regionals, RSN. They bought all the Fox Sports regionals and renamed them Bally Sports.
Okay.
That's weird to me. And I asked my wife, because she's old, so she knows everything. Trust me.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Trust me on that.
Stop, dude. Stop.
My old wife was like,
Stop.
yeah, I thought Bally Fitness was out of business. So did I.
Well,
So did I. That was weird. But hey, Bally's now owns all of the RSNs.
yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
I guess. Anyway, who's winning an NBA championship?
I still have to go with the Nets, but,
No. Kevin Durant is amazing. KD Trey, the Slim Reaper.
Yep.
How about this Michael Rappaport thing? Did you not hear about this?
I didn't.
Oh, Google search. Just Google search it right now. You're not
What
playing
is-
drops anyway,
what
so it
is-
doesn't matter.
Yes, I am. I played like 4 already. What are you talking about?
So Kevin Durant and Michael Rappaport apparently had a huge Instagram DM gay slur dropping argument. And Kevin Durant just torched him up and down. And it is amazing. Now, it's kind of disgusting. Honestly, don't go read it. There's a lot of really heavy language in there. But Kevin Durant took Michael Rappaport to the woodshed in DM.
Wow.
Like, it's amazing. It is.
I don't know why
Kevin
people.
Durant-
I don't know why people give Michael Rappaport the time of day. I don't get it. That's all he does.
He's a Hollywood actor.
He is a loudmouth individual. That's who he is.
He's a Hollywood actor.
Okay, great. That doesn't explain why anybody would give him the time of day.
And by the way, I don't know. This is a bad look for Kevin Durant. Okay, as much as he burned Rappaport to the ground, the language he used, the slurs he used, this is a bad look for Kevin Durant. And I think if you're Nike, you're paying really close attention to this.
You're not dropping Kevin Durant. Dude.
I don't know about
Kevin
that.
Durant.
That
ain't happening.
You should be careful falling on that.
Dude, you're not. Nike basketball is not dropping Kevin Durant. No way. After all the stuff that they endured with Tiger Woods, you really think that a little Instagram spat like this is gonna make him lose his endorsement?
Well, they stopped pushing Tiger Woods for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
They kept paying him, but they stopped pushing him. I think you have a bias towards Kevin Durant, and you don't realize that his star is falling. His star is falling. Kevin Durant is not the superstar he used to be, and it's because of all the injuries. This is what happens when you're Jordan, when you're Kobe, and you get old and you wind up, running around in a Washington Wizards uniform, not being the same guy you used to be. This is, in my opinion, this is a huge problem for Kevin Durant because of the language he used. Now, maybe, I don't know. He curses at him. He just uses terrible words. He like Kevin Durant said, quote, all you do is, how do I say this? Suck other men for attention. You're a piece of S, and told him to suck a D.
Okay.
And just called him all of these heinous names.
Uh-huh.
It just is not. I think he's going to have to explain himself to the NBA. I think he's going to have to explain himself to the Brooklyn Nets. I think he's going to have to explain himself to Nike. I think there's a real chance this costs him a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think that he didn't use any slurs, right?
Oh,
did he? Did he use a slur of some kind? That's the question.
He did.
Okay.
I think he did. Well, and a lot of people think he does.
Okay. Well, I obviously I haven't read the whole transcript or whatever, but I think the differentiator is, was this a playground spat in Instagram DM, or did he take it to the next level?
Oh, certainly.
Did he use like the F word or like, any of the off limits, you're done, career over words, those kind of words is what I'm referencing.
Yeah. I think Kevin Durant apologized for a reason.
Well, yeah.
Right?
You're going to apologize, but look, there's a difference between, oh my God, I'm losing my Nike endorsement and, the world's ending versus, I had a little spat with, this jagbag and Michael Rappaport who always wants to fight with everybody. And I just need to apologize. Like that's, I just think it's two different things.
He very clearly used a homophobic slur. I mean, there's no.
Okay.
And he's apologized for it. But this is a guy who also has won humanitarian awards.
Yeah.
And I mean, are we just really going to write off? Like, I don't think using homophobic slurs is just.
No, I don't think it's, I'm not sitting here saying it's not a big deal, but what I am saying is that I just don't think that this type of a situation right here is going to cost him really much outside of public, humiliation on some level,
All right, Brandon Whiteside's on YouTube. Good morning to you. He says, Devin Booker overrated, hasn't done anything. He was nobody without Chris Paul. I mean, do I even comment on that?
Yeah, I think that's not correct, sir.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
And Brandon, I love you. I appreciate that you watch this show every day. That's a ridiculous take.
I think you have no idea how good of a scorer Devin Booker is, man. I mean, he is elite for sure. And
he also says Booker seems like the kind of player that can't win without forcing himself to a super team.
I think that conversation is played, dude.
That's James Harden.
Yeah, that's James Harden. It's Kevin Durant. It's a bunch of those guys. I think that is a two-sided conversation because on one hand, we're going to sit here and say, well, he can't win in Phoenix, but then on the other hand, we're going to say, well, in Phoenix, he's got nothing to work with. So how are you going to hold it against him if he's got nothing to work with?
Yeah, Sean, good morning to you on YouTube, says Booker isn't overrated. It's just about the players. If you aren't on a competitive team, you don't get as much attention. The Suns are good now, but they haven't been good for years. Yeah. And I think not being good for years means that nobody's paying attention to you right now. I mean, It really is that simple.
You have to go out and you have to put up 40-point games in the postseason and carry your team and be the guy and have moments. That's what has to happen.
To really be elite, do you have to be the guy on the best team? Do you have to be LeBron on the Heat? Do you have to be LeBron on the Lakers?
No, I don't. So yes, you have to be LeBron, but I don't think you have to be like the Heat wouldn't be the Heat without LeBron, right? So like the Heat were not like this is different than Kevin Durant going to Golden State, right? Like before LeBron went to Miami, it was just D-Wade. That was it, But then LeBron goes to Miami, and all of a sudden it's this whole different dynamic, So, like, with Book, like, I don't think it's fair to say, well, he's got to go to a super team to win. Like, I think that is the culture of the NBA. Guys want to play with other guys. So, like, I know, obviously, as you've said 100 times on the show, yes, Book wants to be a Los Angeles Laker. That's not in secret. He's a Kobe guy. He's been a Kobe guy. Like, it's what he wants. And so I think eventually, he will be a Los Angeles Laker at some point in his career. But I just think that this whole idea of like, oh, well, is he a superstar right now? Well, unfortunately, the media portion of that conversation doesn't help him right now. And I think that if he I think that if he played in Los Angeles, if he played in any of the major markets, I think that, his fate would obviously be different. But I think it's unfair to say that he needs a super team to go and win. I just think he needs a better market.
I think he needs a better team. And I think, and again, I know I just said this, but responding to the comments from, Sean and Brandon, I think the Suns are a putrid organization. And Barry has done is telling me on direct message, hey, compare the Suns to the Knicks. Who's
it's the
got
same
it worse?
thing, dude. The Knicks probably have it worse, but I think it's largely the same thing.
Well, the Knicks have it worse because they're in New York City, and that's the biggest media market.
And
in the
they
country.
have the money. That's the thing.
Yeah, and if they were any good at all, they would be incredible. I think that's the point with the Suns is that if they win a championship, yeah, sure, they'll own Arizona, but what else? Mm-hmm. If the Lakers win a championship, they own this country. If the Celtics, the Knicks, the Bulls, they run this world, right? The Suns, I don't know, will ever be there. So when I look at Devin Booker and I look at his situation, he's a superstar. I got to watch him up close and personal. I followed him in college, and I was pissed that the Jazz didn't draft him.
Yeah.
And the truth is, he should be a Utah Jazz man. And if he was,
it should have been Book and Hayward.
Yeah, if he was, you would be seeing a completely different situation. But he's not. Mm-hmm. So we're not. And so he's in Phoenix languishing. Yeah. And I think any Utah Jazz fan that doesn't have respect for Devin Booker's game just doesn't know the NBA. Yeah. I mean, that's as simple as I can say it. If you're a Jazz fan and you're not pissed he's not on your team, I don't know what you're talking about.
You need to get on YouTube.
By the way, make sure you hit subscribe on the old YouTube machine, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show, just Google search it. Where are you at on the Lakers? Because last night we saw a troubling trend in La La Land continue. Mm-hmm. And that is that Andre Drummond, they're saying it's an ingrown toenail, which I have not had in years. Mm. They are terrible. I can tell you the worst injury I've ever had was not my torn ACL. It was fouling a baseball off my big toe.
Dude.
And not being able to walk properly for like a month.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I've been there. I've done that. I don't know what you do if you're the Lakers, though. I get it that he needs to have this ingrown toenail taken care of. You're going to be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, dude.
You're in real jeopardy, and I know a lot of people think this is crazy. They don't win even 4 of 10 games the way their roster is currently constructed.
Yeah.
Without LeBron, without AD, I thought Drummond gave them 14 really quality minutes last night. You could see what he was bringing.
Yeah.
Getting to the basket, shooting a little mid-range, playing really good defense. Then he gets hurt, and he's out for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And now you don't know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah, I think that I'm just telling you now. Like, if I'm the Lakers, I'm not pushing it this year. I'm not. I don't think it's their year. There's no reason to. There's no reason to risk your future in Anthony Davis. With that Achilles situation that he has going on. I just think I would take my time. You've got less than 5 years left with LeBron James in the league. Period. Why would you not? Take your time. Let him stay, let him get to 100% and then, run it back. I mean, that's what I would do. But, again, I'm not the Lakers.
Yeah, I think this is just not their year.
Yeah.
Things have just not broken for them as much as they broke in the bubble. I think that the grind of winning championships is catching up to the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think you look at the fact that their best player right now is Dennis Schroeder, probably. Right? And I look around the league a little bit, and I see that they're not on par with Denver, the Jazz, the Suns, the Blazers.
Yeah.
They're not. Like the team I was disappointed in last night, the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, I don't know what you've been watching them more. They're not. Again, they're a team that's got to prove it. They got to prove that they can win big games.
Oh, I would agree with that
because they don't know how to win, and I think that they're a nice little regular season team, but I don't have any confidence in them.
Chuck says more jock riding on Devin Booker. Monty, can you see if he's single? Maybe you two can pair up Kevin Durant style. Hey, thanks, Chuck.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? Not funny. Barry says. Shocker, Monty defending Devin Booker again. It's not shocking at all. Will says, get over Dante Exum. Are you going to hold that against the Jazz the rest of your life?
Bro, it's not just Dante Exum, dude. It's like 5 years of the draft that they screwed up to not get good players.
Yeah, where the fuck is Rodney Hood right now, man? Where is...
I know. He's making threes for the Portland Trailblazers and taking it in the postseason.
Alec Burks.
Trey Lyles.
Trey Lyles. Thank God you turned that into Donovan Mitchell.
It's the only excuse, dude.
But, I mean, Enes Kanter, Gordon Hayward. Like, look at all the guys that have come and gone through the draft. Look at all the wasted draft picks. It's not. Oh, my God. It's not just Dante Exum. It's not. You're crazy. He says, I remember when you broke the news that he tore his ACL in international play. I felt like you were celebrating. Are you happy now that you're right? What are you pissed about Dante Exum?
So random, dude.
Isn't Dante Exum in the D League or something? Like, who cares?
It's the G League, please.
It's the G League.
Thank you.
I don't care about Dante Exum. This is the Clippers with Benoit Benjamin, man. What are you talking about?
Who names their kid Benoit?
Yeah. Okay. Benoit, but if you look at guys like Rodney Hood's not really a bust. He's just a guy you drafted at the end of the first round that didn't work out, and you wound up shopping him. You look
first round pick that didn't pan out, dude.
Yeah, you look at all the mountain of first round picks that did not work out for the Utah Jazz. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. It's not just Dante Exum. Brandon Whiteside says Antonio Walker. Do you mean Antoine Walker? Antonio, I don't know the name.
Antoine Walker.
I think he means Antoine Walker, who I know personally, by the way, Chicago guy. What about Antoine Walker? I'm not really sure.
Did he just comment Antoine Walker?
They literally just said Antonio Walker. I think you mean Antoine. You could explain that. He said Hood got traded.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he did. He did. Listen.
You're pissing people off, bro.
How, though? How? What could I possibly be doing?
It's really unfair.
Well, that might be true, but what am I doing that's pissing people off? I am not the one who brought up Dante Exum. Listen, we can sit here. Dude, don't make me go. Okay. 2020 NBA draft. Udoka Azubuike.
Excellent strategy, sir.
Saban Lee. 2019, Darius Balsley. Justin Wright Foreman. 2018, Grayson Allen. Good to see him on the Grizzlies. Playing well, shooting well, playing defense. 2017, Tyler Linden, Josh Hart, Lakers. Thomas Bryant, Lakers. Nigel Williams, Goss. 2016, Torian Waller Prince. Isaiah Whitehead. Joel Balamboy.
Bojan.
Hello? 2015, Trey Lyles. 2014. Here's the draft. Dante Exum, Rodney Hood, Jarnell Stokes. Thank God we're saved.
Jarnell.
2013, Shabazz Muhammad. Gorgie Dang. Wow. Eric Green. 2012, Kevin Murphy. 2011, Enes Kanter, Alex Burks. 2010, Gordon Hayward. Jeremy Evans. Oh, my God. Save Me Jeremy Evans was going to no. I'm not doing it.
No, I guess not.
No, I'm not. It's not an I guess not. Screw you. It's not an I guess not. The Jazz have wasted the NBA draft. Are we really talking about this again?
Apparently.
Stop it. Kyle says, what about the Lakers? The Lakers don't exactly draft well. Okay. Well, but you're the
Here's the difference.
God.
What's the difference?
God, you're killing me. My soul is dying with this conversation.
And you two motherfuckers need Jesus.
Seriously, you need Jesus. Are you kidding me that you're trying to compare the way the Lakers use the NBA draft and the way that the Jazz use the NBA draft?
That's quite enough. We get it.
Oh, my God.
Pull it up. Come on.
2020, Jaden McDaniels,
Okay.
NBA championship.
Yeah, but not because of McDaniel.
Just throwing that out there, they drafted Jaden McDaniels and they won an NBA championship. 2019, DeAndre Hunter. 2018, Moritz Wagner and 2017, Lonzo Ball turned him into Anthony Davis. 2016, Brandon Ingram, Ivica Zubats. They turned them into Anthony Davis. Ivica Zubats is a starting center for arguably the best team in the Western Conference, the LA Clippers. Lonzo Ball's a superstar. Tony Bradley sucks.
Okay,
Sorry.
Lonzo Ball's not a superstar.
Well, he's one of the best. He's
a
going
good
to be.
point guard.
He will be. Oh, I guarantee you. And I'm not going to say I guarantee you. I think in 3 years he's one of the best, if not the best, point guards in the NBA.
Okay. We'll see.
Lonzo Ball. Okay, well, let's put. How do I put it this way?
He's quality. He can be the point guard of your team.
He is a good NBA point guard that at the trade deadline was in demand with 5 teams.
Correct. Yes, he was.
Okay. D'Angelo Russell, Max, Super Max, I believe.
Yeah.
Larry Nance,
Good player.
Julius Randle,
Great player.
superstar on the Knicks.
Yeah.
You have.
You
This
have
is what I'm saying.
options.
And what do the Lakers do? They usually trade their. Why are we even entertaining? Why do I let commenters on this show drive me off the rails? Brandon Whiteside says Walker used to put up like 50 points a game for the Celtics, and they didn't do anything, a.k.a. Booker.
Well,
I don't disagree with that. But by the way, didn't Antoine Walker win a championship?
I think he did. I don't know, dude. Dude, you've pissed a bunch of people off today. Do you realize that? People are upset with you right now.
I didn't piss anybody off. The facts pissed people
I personally would like an apology.
off. Antoine Walker is broke. This is the story I always tell. He's broke. He made $110 million.
Jesus.
I mean, good Lord. I don't remember if he won a championship or not. I thought he was on that. I thought he gravy trained one in Miami, but I could be wrong.
Either way, it's fine.
Pretty sure in 2006 with the Heat he won a championship. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, it's fine.
It doesn't matter. You're
We
not
need to move
wrong.
along.
You're not wrong that Antoine Walker scored a lot of points and didn't win.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway.